missing someone.
Hey, this is Baundiesel, bringing you another video. This one is very special to me considering when I'm making it. Making it towards the end of May of 2018 with E3 coming up in, as of today, 12 days from now. And what I'm the most excited for is that, if you haven't heard or haven't seen me plastered everywhere, I have been lucky enough to be picked as a star player by Ubisoft, which means I will be getting access to the Ubisoft conference, E3 in general, and the Ubi player lounge, where I'll get to put my hands on games they have coming out, things that they're showcasing. I suspect if you're here, you know that I'm mostly a Division streamer and content creator. I dabble a bit, but definitely my Division work is why I'm going, why I was selected, and what I'm the most excited about. Because, as we all know, Division 2 was officially announced a while back, but this will be the first reveal of any real information about it. I get that opportunity. I'm really excited. I'm trying to decide how to balance the trip between business and pleasure. Definitely trying to lean towards the pleasure a bit, but wanting to make sure I bring home plenty of things to talk about, make content about, and be able to keep pushing this thing that we have going on. The first thing I want to talk about when it comes to the Division and E3 is it's in a weird spot. The game came out, was in a weird spot, has since gotten better, but a lot of people still don't feel like it's lived up to its original promise. And if you have followed the Division since 2013, I believe, when it was first shown at E3, it kind of took on this hype level that I feel like was almost impossible to ever actually meet. Now, there were things that weren't met, such as the graphical fidelity and stuff like that. That was kind of an Ubisoft thing at that time, was to kind of show off these really incredible graphics and maybe not necessarily bring that. It's not been an issue in the last 4 or 5 games that they've released, in my opinion. But Division has a weird spot with E3 and with what they're going to do, and I'm really excited to see how they handle it. And I'm pretty confident that they're going to do it well, by not over-promising, by giving us just enough to get us interested, hopefully not overhyping the whole thing, but giving us enough information. So, making this video, I'm eventually getting to the point here of the things I want to see at E3 concerning the Division 2. I'm sure I'll think of more things between now and E3, but these are the big things I can think of right now. The first thing, release date. I'm jumping right in. I want to know, because for me personally, as a fan, as a gamer, but especially as a content creator, I kind of want to know where I'm going here. And even more so than that, I want to just know when we're getting this game. Right now, in theory, we're under the impression it's supposed to release within this financial year, which for Ubisoft is ends at the end of next March. There's always chances for delays. This game was delayed multiple times. The first one was. I think that it's probably a slightly different situation at this point, but that could always happen again. I'm not going to go on and rant forever about how it's definitely going to get delayed and go on. You know, that's not my style. But it could. But until we hear that it is, I'm going on either this winter or next spring. So, honestly, between those two dates, I suspect that not a whole lot would change if it got released in the spring rather than this winter. Probably fairly minor things. I wouldn't mind next spring just because it would kind of, you know, draw things out a bit more, get the hype going a little bit more, but it could be too much as well. At the end of the day, we'll just have to see. The next big thing I think that we're going to get, but I would also like to see, is where this game is going to take place. Is it still in New York City? Is it going to be in a new city like Chicago or Philadelphia or Washington, D.C. or somewhere else? Or could it even be in multiple cities? I think that's quite the reach. I think if they model a city anywhere near as detailed as they did the first division, they can only really do one city. But who knows? Sky's the limit. We have no idea at this point. It's worth at least thinking about. The next thing I really want to see is major system changes in general. So things like any hints or blatant shows of a change in movement system, gun handling systems, skill systems, and how we use mechanics in the game. Big sweeping changes. I've been predicting for a while that this game is going to feel like a new game, and that this isn't just going to be a copy and paste of Division 1, because I think that they recognized and really probably didn't get to fully implement things in the original that they've likely wanted to push to this one. But I think they recognize that people really like a lot of stuff about this game, but there's a lot of really core systems in this game. The PvP, the gun handling, even the movement system, even though I personally like the current one. I would say all those things are on the table, and I think I've seen some people predicting that it's just going to be the same game in a new place, and I think that's a mistake to assume, and I think they need to realize I believe that there's a chance that this game could come out and actually not really appeal to a lot of people who currently play it, but we'll see. I suspect I don't know. I could be wrong, but we'll see. I would also like to see, I suspect we'll kind of get a hint of new skills that we get to use, and returning ones. I suspect we get all of the current skills back plus more, but they could get rid of ones that people never used. The thing is that a lot of the ones that people never used were just not used because of the core mechanics of the game that I think are going to change. So like things like mobile cover and stuff like that. I think that they're going to significantly change the way the game is played. Therefore, there will be a resurgence of use of the skills that we currently have that literally no one uses in any significant way. And then the last thing is the rogue system. I suspect that we'll get some kind of hint or some kind of showing of where the rogue system is, or whatever they would call it, the PvP system, from Division 1 to 2. We saw Rogue 2.0. I think a lot of people think that that's just a beta for Division 2 and that's going to copy and paste. I highly suspect that's not true. I suspect that it was a move in a direction that they were testing out, and that it will be a significant advancement from what we have seen with Rogue 2.0. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be exactly the same. Maybe it'll go back to the original Rogue system. I kind of hope that neither one of those are true. I hope it's a whole new evolved system that truly my original vision of the DZ, and I think it corresponds with the devs, was that the DZ would be the best looting zone that you could get, or one of the best looting zones that had a chance of PvP. I still think the DZ could behave that way in the current game, but since most people don't need to farm for anything, it's not. It's the PvP zone, whether people like it or not. Some more minor things I think that we may see or get hints to are things like a recommitment to the cover system, whether or not they're going to completely abandon that idea or go all in on it. I think it's going to be one or the other. Like I said, I think we're going to have some significant mechanic changes, and I'm curious to whether or not they are going to go all in and make being out of cover a death sentence, or if they're going to evolve and say the player base went this direction, let's make that better. I'd personally be okay with either, but I still use the cover system, especially mostly in PvP, because that's mostly what I do. But I'll be curious to see what kind of hints or clues we get into that. I'm just kind of curious to see new weapons and gear, cosmetics, how we're going to handle that. I suspect that we won't just have 6 different pieces of gear that we throw on our character anymore. I'm going to guess that there's maybe even going to be a significant simplification of the mod system for guns and for gear that maybe I just think it's going to be different. I think the current system is too clunky. It's too complicated for what's supposed to be a light RPG. Could be wrong, but that's something I'm excited to see if we're gonna get some hints of where that's going. The next big thing I hope that we get some word on is how they're going to handle season pass, DLC, and loot boxes. I really hope there's not a season pass. Battlefield 5 appears to be making a big push away from that model, and we'll have to see. Those decisions have probably been made for a long time with Division 2. I suspect the decisions on whether or not there's going to be a season pass was probably made years ago. I could be wrong. I don't know. DLC, I think, is pretty much a guarantee, no matter what the season pass looks like. That will get releases, hopefully, with Division 2. They don't get delayed or significantly changed the way it appears and the way that we know they were in Division 1. I have a running theory that the West Side Piers was supposed to be an entirely different thing if it was supposed to exist at all. And I think a lot of that was due to the changes in this release schedule of things that we saw with 1.4. And just we know that things were delayed from 1.4. That we don't have to speculate about much of that. I am also curious about the loot boxes. I've been labeled as a loot box defender, and even some slang terms for that mechanic that I think are really stupid and useless, and that ruin the whole conversation. But I don't like loot boxes. I think the Division and all of the games I've played so far implements it the best by making it cosmetic only. But I'm the first one to say I would significantly enjoy the experience of getting new cosmetics if I could just buy them or earn them from doing specific activities. I don't like having to open 100 loot boxes to get the cool cosmetics I want. I would rather just pay money for them, and I suspect a lot of people agree. I don't enjoy the wait and then the duplication. It's just not fun to me, and I would be willing to spend more money on loot directly, cosmetics. I'd be more willing to spend way more money on that than I would ever encrypted caches. I've spent a couple bucks on those, but mostly I've collected so many keys for free, and even though I've gotten so many for free, I still really don't like that mechanic. Like I said, I would spend way more money directly on cosmetics than I've spent on encrypted caches. Like, way more. I spent very little on those, and that's because I just don't care for the system. The last couple thoughts of things I'd like to see. I just really want to be surprised and intrigued by what we see. I've been thinking about this stuff for months. I've been talking about it for just as long as most of you know. But I want something in the trailer or in the other information that comes out during E3 to make me go, no way. Really? Holy crap. I want that. And I think that's going to be important to get. I feel like I spend so much time thinking about this game in the original that I don't want to jade myself to the excitement of it. I want to make sure that when I open up and I put on that game for the first time when it comes out, that I have a sense of awe and not yeah, I've been here before. I knew I was going to see this. It's tough. So I'm really hoping that we see something that makes me think I'm going to feel that way, and then I hope when it comes out I do feel that way. And I really want to address the whole idea of obviously we're going to be getting wined and dined while we're there. We're there to be impressed. We're there to be fed and shown really cool stuff. E3 is a fashion show for games. We're gonna see all the best stuff. We're gonna see vertical slices. We're gonna see all of that. Despite, being a star player, despite being about 95% positive about most of the things involved in this game, there is still a responsibility to be critical or realistic about things that we see while we're there, and to realize that we are going to get the best version of everything. So I am aware of that. I'm not ignorant to that. I'm not ignorant to the specter around being a star player and how that's going to change my opinions on this. Will it? Sure, I'm human. I can have biases, and those are obvious. But I do want to reassure that I'm fully aware of that situation, and that I do plan on doing my best to bring both sides of the coin in a constructive and critical and realistic and logical fashion. You will not, unless something goes really wrong, see clickbait, negative, complaining, throwing fit on the ground videos from me. Can't do it. I just can't. I can't make a career on that like some people have. So that's that. I really want to give one more big thank you to everyone who is involved in my content in any way, shape, or form. You are the reason I'm going. I don't want that to feel like a rub in your face. I really want it to feel like a very genuine, from my heart, thank you for elevating me to a position where people in that building thought I was worth spending a lot of money on to bring to this and to experience this. Otherwise, I don't think I would have ever gone to E3. E3 has always been a thing I watch on YouTube or TV or whatever. It's a thing I never even considered going to. And I know that there's lots of other people who deserve it as much as I do, if not more. And I really want to enjoy the opportunity, but also take full advantage of it, and personally and professionally. I do want to remind everyone, I do have a giveaway going on until the 9th, until right before I leave of June. Ubi Collectibles Shade Agent figure, lights up, looks really cool. It's in perfect condition. I'll put links to that below. You can also check it out on my other social media places. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Obviously, you're listening to me on YouTube. Those are all under Baundiesel. I highly suggest you check me out, especially on Twitter, if you want to keep up with the latest updates and what I have going on with my content and so on. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed. I do plan on doing a follow-up to this after E3 to see if any of these questions were answered. But until next time, this is Baundiesel.